Hey, 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 welcome to Monday Dungeons and Dragons. Very excited. And we will be having tons of fun just in a moment as we get moving. As I appropriately changed the category because I changed one text and didn't do the other. But very fun. We are playing music from Welcome to Teodori by Critical Role. You can find links and such to stream and or buy in the comment section. You can do that as well. And we find ourselves in the midst of Vasselheim, and a little time between various things as our adventurers figure out what is next in their life here, as they've made their way. Many completed their first mission for the Slayer's Take and achieved what they set out to do. And they are now known and are ready to be fully inducted members of the organization. So we will catch up to them as they headed to their rest, or I believe just waking up from it as well. We will get there. So
we are able to take our long rest, Matt.
yeah, you can take your long rest.
Oh, I feel so better. I so much better.
Hey.
Hi. I
hello,
took
hello.
migraine medication. I'm sort of here.
Oh man, glad to have you.
Yeah.
As we see the amazing city of Vasselheim, absolutely abuzz with energy this early in the morning. People going from shop to shop, and there is few rumors, some news of the crew of survivors that ended up in the city not so long ago and have made their home, and done good for the city. Freed it from the influence of a monster deep in the caverns below, and those who have joined them. That the group of these misfits have banded together and made good, are adding to the city. And we find all of them emerging from their rooms and making use of the breakfast that is regularly provided at the Slayer's Take for the few copper that it takes to provide. And so, how does this day find everybody?
Shauna's been up for the last 4 hours. She's rises before everybody else.
Yeah.
Excitedly preparing for this initiation to join the Slayer's Take. And also she's been sitting there in deep thought about the knowledge of what she learned that I could do, and how much her homeland has been affected by the dead, Zadash and Wildmount. And honestly, just she smiles for a second, just like knowing that this place hasn't felt that yet.
Cool.
I would say Critters would probably be up next because he did take the nap with the fight. So, but he wakes up in a panic, thinking he's not in control of himself, but starts to realize he is himself, and does his little mimicry noises that help calm him down. The voices of the ones who rescued him as a young little bird, and just repeating the voices of those who are gone.
Is there any certain words he says?
It's more of like their child. The mistress oversees you, stuff like that.
And the way that Kenkus work, it's like literally that person's voice,
Yes.
like a record. Okay, that's cool.
I'd say Esme is she's probably been up for about an hour before she would go down. She does her morning prayer, and I think she is apprehensive, probably the most apprehensive about moving ahead out of the group. Not unwilling, but just cautious. And I think that she spends most of that morning trying to find some manner of sign or I would say, yeah, she's probably just seeking some type of feeling on the matter, and is still 100% going forward with this, but she's also second guessing herself a lot.
Makes sense. And
I think Palin would be fastidiously checking his clothing, making sure he looks presentable, nervous for the day's events, but also somewhat thrilled at the prospect. And before he leaves his room, he's going to take a sending stone out of his robes and just regard it, obviously experiencing some kind of conflict, and he'll raise it as though to make use of it, and then think otherwise and put it away.
Are we all in the same room?
yeah, kind of
Oh,
eating
yeah.
breakfast, I think, yeah.
Okay. So Marvelous would have been late. He would have overslept. Not really a care in the world as far as he knows. He'll roll up out of bed. Pretty much his hair will be perfectly done, and he'll have his hat on. Just kind of whistling a tune as he walks in and sits down, and just kind of humming to himself and eating, looking around and just listening.
And then, as you sit there, just getting the food, the oats. There's the bits of meat stewed in for protein and other things here. It's very much as a budget gruel, basically. Proteins to keep adventurers going, but nothing overly special. But it's good. It keeps you warm, keeps you going. And of course, you're free to make use of other inns and other establishments, should you need to. But here at the Slayer's Stake, there's always a place. And so those adventurers who wish to keep their goat in their pocket to further their other endeavors find a home here. That's nice. And after a while, Merchant comes to check in, reload some of the vats of food for everyone, and his little halfling self just looks up at all of you and go, "Huh? You ready for your big day then?"
Excitedly.
Always.
All right.
Very much so.
Well, when you are ready, Vanessa says simply knock on her office, and she will induct you officially.
there won't be some kind of like public gathering or crowd to. It's more of a private affair, I suppose.
You'll find out.
Of course.
Well, are you all ready?
Yes, I think so. But let's all make a promise. No matter what happens, we'll be friends forever.
Of course, sister. Always. I would lay my life down for you. As Sean is sending a mage hand to knock on the door.
Of course. All right. And then Vanessa comes out just a little nicer, it seems, for the occasion. She beckons all of you in. Goes, you're all cleaned up. You had your baths. Good. You do not smell like death. Certainly an improvement. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I'll follow.
Yeah.
We'll follow.
She nods at Merton, who sets up like just a little bit of a barrier between the outer door and her office as you all enter. She locks the door and a boat, and she then proceeds to do a boat that goes from the bottom of the door into the floor, and then one from the doorway into the door at the top. Very good. As she comes to her desk and opens up a drawer, you see her kind of reach in, and you hear a little click as one stone slab slides out on the floor as you see a stairwell going down. Goes, right, follow me.
Right in behind her.
Goes,
We're following you into the. Oh,
yeah, shh, no talking.
Don't worry, Palin. It'll be okay.
Critters will go to Shauna and repeat Vanessa's no talking. Shh.
And you proceed down the dark corridor. If you don't have dark vision, it is necessary to grab onto those behind, as she also says, no light. Here. As you proceed down, and the floor piece slides back. As you walk a fair bit, at least maybe 20 minutes. You see at one point there's like a bridge over water. And then she pauses kind of suddenly. And those of you with dark vision make out the outline of a large ziggurat rising about 20 feet high. As she begins saying what sounds like a prayer, and a large white glowing eye symbol, some of you known as the Azayun, the knowing mentor, shines and fills the room. And then you hear the fluffing of wings. Large. As a creature lands. Large claws. Fur over their body. Face almost human-like with sharp teeth. A long tail. It rests and bows its head. New recruits. Yes, they have proven themselves. And it is, I know what they have done, Vanessa. Right, of course. And she bows. And the creature, humongous, gets closer. Its head almost the size of each of your bodies. And it goes, It is good to meet you. Who are you?
I am Shauna Arwana. My beautiful presence. Great. You are magnificent. I've never seen something so magical.
That's
Take a bow.
Do you have a name for yourselves?
Yes. I was just trying to remember. It was something fallen, right? It was the fallen,
The rescued fallen.
the rescued fallen.
Rescued fallen.
The rescued fallen, yes. It is good that your number has grown. I am Osesa. And it is my pleasure to welcome you. As part of the Slayer's Take, you are expected to keep your contracts close. Not to reveal what we do. It is not good. And the existence of this temple and myself are never to be spoken outside of this room. Do you understand?
Always secrets. But yes.
To do so would become a traitor to Layun and to the guild. It is important. Few places like this exist, and we keep this as hidden as possible. So, as she repeats what you've seen on the door, and she beckons you repeat. You don't have to do so out loud in character. As she says, "Here is where the hunters gather, keen eyes and blades at ready. We cease the unknown's cackling laughter. Our will is strong, our members plenty. We stand against the tide of darkness. We do the deeds few men can handle. Reap forth a trophy from the carcass. We are your strength. We are your candle." In our missions, we find knowledge. We uncover that which is hidden. As she begins talking, do you swear to uphold the secrets and to seek knowledge? And then she waits for each one to agree and swear.
I swear.
I swear.
I swear.
Critters nods, it looks like.
Mihan, you're muted.
brain hurt.
All right. Is anyone not swearing, I guess, is the better question. So that is important. With everyone all the way in, she nods, and there's a burning on the side of your arms. As you look, and a brand is formed. A sign, one line intersecting the other, with 4 crescents on each side of the line of the 4 lines, forming points out. Welcome. We share our knowledge, and as members of the Take, you may come down and provide offering. Is there any questions I can answer for you while you are here?
Yes. Palin, do you still have that collar?
I do not. I believe the guild mistress was inspecting it.
So Vanessa would have it?
Yes, it was. I brought it, Oisa. Used collar. Have you had time to investigate it? Yes. You said you found this on a hydra.
Yes. It was following us. It looked like it was also buried?
It behaved in what I assume to be an unnatural fashion. It was especially cunning.
I see. She looks. I have inspected this, and it's. I have not seen its construction before, but its purpose is quite clear. It is. Well, it's made to control creatures. I believe it would have to have partner, some device that would allow some type of influence over any that would have it, or another item that would make them docile towards a particular person. I'm not entirely sure, only that whoever would have the pairing of this would be able to have a good measure of control. And if you're saying that, sounds like at least one creature out in the wilds of Ishila has been overcome and bound this way.
It makes me wonder how many more are like this. And who's behind it?
Indeed.
For it was not friendly to our party of people. It actually, like Palin said, was very cunning. It kidnapped one of our party and held it almost as hostage for us. Laid a trap on its own, and
Yes. It seems, from what I can tell, it would be possible for them to obtain the same raw intelligence of whoever created it, or it is bound to.
would they be able to communicate with it also? over a
Potentially.
distance.
It's quite possible. Without both items, I can't get a proper read. Looks at you. The magic won't work. I can only inspect its design and make guesses. With both items, one could probably perform a simple magic test to determine precisely its capabilities.
Where would we even look?
You wish to find the one who controls this person? Or who controlled this Hydra?
Shaw kind of looks at Palin, Sister as Critters, and Mian.
Very much.
And what would be your intentions after finding them?
To figure out why. There is always a reasoning behind someone's actions.
It's also a remarkable device.
And dangerous. She pauses. And she looks to Vanessa. She goes, "It is a danger, Oisa, to our people. After all, if we are going after... If the creatures around here are suddenly getting more intent, human intelligence, it could explain some of the deaths of our recent heavy hitters. Indeed. In that case, I think maybe a contract to retrieve this and any control-like devices. Is that acceptable to all of you?
It certainly is to me.
As Marbellus, this could be another tale.
I'm in for it.
Sister
Looks-
Critters, Mihan.
Friends forever, remember?
It's not the choice I would make, but the people as a group. I am very often an observer and will happily accompany.
Vanessa, draw up the contract. Vanessa bows. I would say... will you be able to determine... And Vanessa speaks up. I will find the fill price. Very well. And she then says, "Now, where to find such a thing?" And Vanessa kind of pauses, like, "We'll have to trust them at their word at some point, Vanessa. They are signed the contract, they have sworn." And so you ask, where might you find this? Yes?
Yes.
Very well. She goes up, beats her wings, and lands high atop the ziggurats. And looks down and you see where the eye is as she moves it. It looks more like a large glass ball or orb as she sings through.
Palin, this is true divination magic.
It is. It's some of the most impressive I've ever seen.
Shauna's in awe.
She goes, okay. And it glows bright, and as it does, her form and eyes light bright, and wind blows. It almost like moves you. You see Vanessa already has grabbed a handhold that seems to be there for this very purpose. As her voice echoes loud. Goes, over looking the steamy lake was this forged. And the Isles of the Broken Bay now sits its master. One in Jorn's Fall. Of gentle heart, but awful visage, is one that knows the Maker. As her eyes close. Whew. And Oisa just kind of stumbles for a brief second and shakes her head, bows. Oh, contract them. As she moves her wings and a little, almost drunkenly, finds her way and flies off into the darkness. Right. Well, let's get out of here. Because whenever she does that, she gets hungry, and sometimes when she's hungry, she doesn't always know who's who.
Oh yes, then let's go.
Quickly walking right behind me.
Palin will linger at the rear, just taking as much time as he can to observe the chamber and the ziggurat.
Yeah. It's beautiful. There's several ruins and reliefs all up it, depicting figures and stories and some type of record keeping as well. You can see from this distance. It's hard to totally tell. And then you make your way back to Vanessa's office. She closes the thing. So, welcome to the Slayer's Stake.
Yes, that was sweet.
Jackie, did you say something?
No.
Okay. Someone said something.
Critters is going to be like scratching his arm where the brand is.
Yeah. Well, this is certainly an unusual contract, but I will write it up. So it goes, from what I can gather, sounds let's see here. She goes, I will write up a one for information, forging apparati, instructions.
Vanessa,
Yes.
are the contracts necessary?
The contracts, they mystically bound us. It's how we operate. This will make sure you get paid, and will be certain that you are the ones completing this. It is a protection as well. Should a member enlist others or begin to hire out their work, thus potentially rendering the secrets not so secret.
I think I understand. I'm just not used to them.
Well, they protect us as much as the organization, and it keeps each other each group from undercutting the other group.
Correct.
Where I'm from, we just promise and uphold those. But if the paper is necessary, I will sign it.
Indeed. I will say, Esme, I was once not always here. I was a part of another organization, and as your Marvelous there says, sometimes these organizations have a way of contracting several groups for the same job, often at different prices, to see who can get it done. And out in the wilds, when gold is involved, it can be worth more. The promise of that gold can be worth more than your fellow guildmate's life to some.
I think, Esme will nod as if she understands. I think that she is really confused about why the money matters, but she doesn't want to say anything because she's letting them handle the business because she doesn't have a clue what's going on.
So typically our magics and what we have only do so much to keep things fresh for our customers. So our reach is far more limited than from, if I guess these clues correct, it will be. But this one is supposedly located near the Steamy Lake, from what I can tell.
It's that far from here.
Indeed. Very. And then I think she is referring to the Broken Bay, which is the item. So, she actually, it's up to you. I can write this actually as one. There are consequences for not fulfilling them. Or I can write it as two. However, by the rules of the guild, you are not permitted to have two contracts at once. So you'd have to come back to get the second. Just depends on how you wish to travel.
What do you feel like, everybody? Do you think we could handle both at once?
So we're talking about information and then forging instructions. Is that right?
One's the forging instructions. Yeah, is one, and the other is the actual item.
All right. Information on the forging instructions, and then the actual item.
We've had some early success, which is very thrilling, but it might behoove us not to overstep our limits. Perhaps taking on one at first might be more manageable.
So, getting the information, returning, and then going back and getting the item.
If that's not a terrible waste of time, that's what I might
Or
say.
what if we have the item and then come back here with it?
Can we complete the contract?
Yes. So she's going to show a map of Isrila here, and so you will find yourself there at Vasselheim, and over here is the Steamy Lakes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
And then down here is the Broken Bay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we have some traveling to do.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to travel that far, it might be good to take both.
Yes, because that would be very far distance travel back.
Mhm.
But this is a group boat, so
And do contracts have time limits? They do?
Indeed. However, in this case, I would, well, actually, by guild rules, the maximum we can put on it is a year, which I can do if you so desire, so you're not rushed. But the violation of completing the contract is expulsion from the guild.
I'm going to defer to the wisdom of my group on this.
Well, why not take the maximum allowable term? That affords us flexibility. We can always complete it earlier. That's certainly our intention.
Based on the map, out of curiosity, that travel time, if we were doing this by foot, is this like a month journey, or is this
I was just about to ask, how long was the journey from where we crashed to Vesselheim?
those are mountains and stuff.
Yeah, so just pure distance in a straight line to get to the Steamy Lakes is 600 miles.
Jeez.
Okay.
Okay.
And travel time is about, I believe, 24 miles a day on foot.
All right. So if we rented like a cart or a wagon or something,
Wagons don't usually actually make time go much faster
okay.
because
No, they
basically all creatures have the same travel time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's roughly if we traveled like every day, it'd be a month,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. However,
so
something to keep in mind when we were traveling here, we had a lot of things that stopped us along the way. So it could be long.
but we are also with a bigger group.
It's true.
We're traveling with 30-some people.
But if we do the year, we can do a little prep here in the city. Gather some new tools. And Critter's just gonna pull out the jawbones. It's like, we got this to make into an axe. Those take time.
So I go back to my question. If we take on the first part of the contract, but we're able to have the item that would complete the second contract, if we brought it back, could we write the contract up and complete it?
She pauses. She goes, This is somewhat unusual.
And it's an unusual undertaking.
It is.
Well.
It is. By the rules, one could certainly do that. The issue comes in, and if the contract is otherwise engaged upon or signed before you return, and sign it to then turn in your thing. Plus, typically these are killing. It doesn't quite. It's about killing the creature. So it is not that you have it, it is you go and you get it. The way ours works. So if you obtain it, you have to obtain it after you've signed.
Okay.
So again, I could write this into one contract. Or, frankly, if you wanted, I wouldn't recommend this. But if you simply wanted to want to go get the item, you certainly could have this as well. I only say because I've grown to trust Thosira's forecastings. And if she mentioned that first, and for a reason, I assume there is something to that. So it's up to you. Two separate, one now, and then you return here, and then go back out for your second. Or one altogether.
I'm gonna speak up. Marvelous will speak up and say, we take the first part and set it for a year. Then we know what task we have to accomplish. If we set both of them at the same time and something happens that we don't fulfill we don't fulfill one part of the two parts, then we're expelled from the guild. So I'll just make that plain and say I would take the first contract, complete it, and then go finish the other part. With the way the rules seem to work within the guild, I think that's our most logical step forward.
Yes, and of course, if you wish to do this now, that is up to you, unless you wanted to take other contracts before you endeavor on any one of these, or in between.
Are there any local contracts?
They're all reasonable. We're not. This is probably one of the more detailed ones we get. It's more they're determined that they are within a acceptable distance to retrieve and come back.
Okay.
What that distance is, I don't know. Osira simply approves them. Doesn't give me those details.
And the only reason I was saying that is because you all seemed very eager to exact some justice or on whoever caused you the difficulties.
I wouldn't say justice. More curiosity of why.
I don't seek any passion toward the contract, but I'm happy to help with whichever one is chosen.
I will follow along with whatever decision is made, as I am a very new member to your group.
Well, then, should we just go with the one contract for now? Everyone? I think that's agreement.
Seems like there's no terrible trade-offs involved in this particular deal, other than the distance of having to travel again, and there may be ways for us to overcome that eventually.
Indeed.
And Critters, what do you think?
I am good with either way we take this contract. I just agreed to the year, so maybe we can prep. At least somewhat. I don't believe we're ready to set out within the next 2 days.
Right. And Mihan?
I don't see why not.
Vanessa will speak up. So I will say, if you are trying to do this in two, I would wish this. I would. You can choose however long you want for the first one, but I feel we need this whole matter resolved within the year.
So
I
6
say
months.
this because, like I said before, my slayers are dying.
Right. Yeah, Esme almost says something, then she decides not to.
So do
So
what
this seems rather important, not only from our standpoint, maybe for the guild standpoint. If you're losing people,
Indeed.
seems rather important mission.
I mean, if monsters are beginning intelligence as smart as me and Palin, can you imagine how much they can wreak damage?
Exactly. So there's a weighted importance and time. I'm setting this up.
She says, if you're wondering about compensation, it is. I have, for each one, I have looked and I feel 5,000 gold per contract is fair.
500 each or 500? 5,000?
5,000 completion of the contract.
So 10,000 altogether for 2.
Yes.
So I was thinking more, because of the time and the distance, that maybe 7,500 per contract.
Palin's gonna lay his hand on Ravelis, cast guidance, and say, "I quite agree."
I think that saving people is compensation enough, right?
Oh, we know, Sister Esme.
This is why she doesn't talk in these.
But that's the kind of bristles. Make a persuasion check with your guidance.
I've foreseen this. He gets 14. Plus your persuasion and your guidance.
29.
So it's, well, it was requested, not demanded of you, and I could always find others to do this. However, I will go up to 6,000 per contract.
Palin's satisfied because it was more the it wasn't about an actual number. It was more about just the gesture. And so he'll kind of subtly nod in agreement, but deferring to Marvelous.
So 6,000 per, so a possible 12,000. So what does the group think? Do you feel comfortable with that?
I'm fine with it.
No objections.
Thank you, Vanessa. Very most generous.
Chris is
Don't
gonna,
just spread that around.
Chris is just gonna look at everybody and see what everybody is carrying. Could you do half of the cost of the first contract up front?
No.
Critters, we did just get paid 5,000 gold. You remember? We did just, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I don't know
was like literally yesterday.
Yes.
So he goes, that is not how the guild works at all. Because if you was to get other contracts, you are very welcome to do so, and maybe others will do that. That is, no.
Speaking of Mihan, you have 695 gold, I think.
She goes, that being said, and she puts the first contract forward there for 6,000 gold to roughly states the precise evidence and the types of things that you might want to bring back. And once everybody signs, she'll pull it up. She goes, very well. Now, this is, as you said, a very valuable mission. Therefore, and she will take you. For this, she actually goes to the opposite wall, and she grabs Metron's portrait and pushes it, and there's a locking, and it opens up into this large cabinet that then kind of comes out like space and time fold outward into her office. She goes,
You have a
"We
lot
do-
of secret compartments in this house.
It's more about maximizing space, but yes, and she.
Do they have an IKEA in Castle?
Multi-dimensional IKEA, yes. And anyway, these are your items. This is our armory. And if there's anything you are in need of, certainly you can requisition it here. Should we have it in stock, of course. And so, for the purposes of this, this would be any uncommon magic item for 300 gold.
Okay.
And for the purpose of this, there's essentially one of each, with the exception of consumables. Something that's consumed, there's considered to be 3 of.
Sean is going to be purchasing a broom of flying.
All right, mark off your 300 gold.
Yep.
Critters is going to be buying a longbow of warning.
Ooh.
Could I be boring and just ask if my wooden shield could be enchanted to a +1 shield? Because that is uncommon.
She rumbles through. If you have 300 gold, she's able to grab this oil that she starts to work into your wooden shield for you.
Thank you.
No, it's dragon blood oil. Very useful. No offense.
None taken.
Anything else?
I'm just like searching for stuff right now.
Yeah, me too.
Shopping. Yes. This is...
Any rogues in here? Just say out of character. Gloves of thievery are always lovely. If need an alternate movement, there's the slippers of spider climbing, which are always fun. The alchemy jug is just funny. Could technically be useful for traveling, you know?
It really can.
I think bags of holding are in common if you want to be going to all reliable, the magic items.
Just check for other bags of holding before putting stuff in them.
Yep.
That's called, you see the BBEG, and you just need to warp them into the astral plane.
Z, would wing boots be a dumb idea?
No, those are good. Get out of here for saying that stuff.
Okay.
Critter's just gonna point out to the robe of serpents for you. Seeing Palin's being so skittish of other things.
Should I do the row of serpents over the?
No,
boots?
it's just a little tease for you.
My poor little scaredy cat boy. Yeah, I'll do winged boots. Winged boots? Winged boots?
Sister Esme, are you getting something?
If I can find something. I'm not good at finding these types of things.
I will take a stone of good luck.
Very nice.
And that's 300.
Yeah.
Palin's testing out his boots, just floating around the room, kind of ungainly, probably bumping into a bookshelf or two.
Easy.
Can I ask Vanessa some stuff right now, or is this like distracting to try and?
There you go.
It was mentioned that some of the more experienced members of the guild had been vested. Is that at all related to our current contract?
Potentially. That is why this is of special interest.
Is there anything that you could tell us about the circumstances of their deaths?
Not much, actually. One of the things about the contract is, once signed, we can know if the signer is alive. And we know that they went out on contract and did not return, and their names vanished.
Were there any patterns in the types of contracts they were on or locations?
She puts them out. Didn't think much of it at the time. She'll put them out for you. You can go ahead and make an investigation check.
Natural 1. Total 9.
Ooh.
Can I also make one?
Jeez Louise.
If not, it's okay.
Yeah, I think Palin takes the time going over here, and you're unable to find the pattern here.
Yeah, after seeing that divination magic, he's just really overwhelmed. Probably has a migraine coming on. Can't focus.
Yeah, part of it's the lack of knowledge of the area. Like, you see there's various creatures, all types. You do see that there's, mostly just that you commonly notice is it does seem to be a dragon turtle heart. This is one of them. Another is for a gorgon hide. And then lastly is for rust monster Shitan. Or chitin, rather.
Or is it chitin? We'll never know.
Thielen will, wave his kind of cursory findings to the rest of the group, alert them to the potential pattern that he found. And that's all I want to do.
Okay, I'll take the period of health.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is wondrous the same as uncommon?
It's not. They're not. It's a different type of modifier entirely.
Okay.
Wondrous isn't a rarity. I think there's like weapon, there's armor, then there's wondrous, basically.
Yep, wondrous is pretty much any magical item that's not a weapon or armor.
Oh, okay. Like a
Broom of flying, or yeah.
Okay.
And then they go by rarity, so uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary.
Okay, dumb questions are over.
No dumb questions in D&D.
So, all right. So there you're able to get your kind of first, a few things. That's what they have. Is everybody good, or does somebody have anything else that they wanted to grab here?
Can I buy another item?
Yeah.
I will buy alchemy jug.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, we can buy more than one. We can just buy as much as we can afford.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. No.
Then I will take off my last patch of gems and do three gems for a lantern of revealing, so that way I can at least see in dark.
100%.
So that means I got 7 gems left.
Shauna's gonna shake the alchemy jug and go beer and hand it to Palin.
Oh wait, never mind. I'll just use the 9 gems I have still from before.
Okay.
So Matt, could I purchase a bag of bounty?
Let me look at that. That's in D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, allows you to do create food and water. Significantly a number on it. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. And you can use it.
Between you and me, Marvelous, we can create a feast.
Yeah. That's just it's just for in case. I've never had one of those. Looks kind of cool.
I've never had one of these either. Mayonnaise. Would you like some?
Man, there's a
Speaking
lot of
of
people in
dragon
here.
blood, if I'm allowed to get one more item that's uncommon, would the Bloodwell vial be up for obtaining?
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. Well, Critters, do you think we still need to wait around town? I mean, could we get that axe done?
Yeah. He'll go to Vanessa. So who is the weaponsmith that you guys go through? Who is...
Any would give you a good discount. But if you're looking for... there is a former member who I prefer. His name is Teneris. His elf. It would be found in the oh, I can forget my rings when I am not looking at my sheet. Quadroads.
And he's familiar with working with bones of monsters to make weapons.
Yes, actually. But if you are so inclined, not that I encourage well, especially once you are where you're going, we don't much have need. Don't send many groups as far out as you, so I don't think there's too much harm. If you're, you can ask him if you have so interest. There is a tome of details how useful different items can be for certain on certain creatures.
Is that in that library then?
No, he would have several copies. Sometimes, if you're from the Slayer's Stake, he would make use of it. He would sell it to you.
Many thanks.
Okay.
Shauna, did you have an appointment with Gilmore?
I did.
That's some-
That's not for a few weeks. Correct? She said like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, possibly. And that's a possible. So, I think we could get this done and possibly be back. I mean, we'll see. She's delusional, okay? She knows that it takes 25 days to get there. I'm sure I can meet him down the road sometime.
Okay.
You could stay here for 2 weeks.
You sure you all don't mind?
No, because I think she put in an order for us or something to have some things restocked or something like that.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure you
thank
did
you.
for critters.
No, it was for Marvelous, because I got my robe.
Was it for you,
Yeah,
I got
Marvelous?
this.
I think so. I had asked for. I was looking for something, some studded leather armor that I could make look however I wanted.
Oh, yes, that's correct. Well, let's wait around for a couple weeks. We could get to know the town a little better.
We could also, make sure we have everything covered. Like, did we get a map of where our trail that we're going to take, or things like that for the trip? I know we got the magical items and things, but having toured around and gone places, it's good to have the necessary equipment needed.
Yeah, you are able to get a map. That's actually, we'll provide that for this.
Would I be able to purchase some components from Vanessa as well?
At Gilmore Shop, you can definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably need to do that too.
It's worth checking out.
Anything that you want, Sister Esme, you can go ahead and get at the temple there for half price.
Okay.
So our next stop is to just check on our business around town and then wait for our appointment with the illustrious Gilmore, Sean Gilmore.
I believe so. I mean, We could always research at the library more
Mhm.
about these places.
Also, looking at the map, does it give us any kind of idea about where we'll be heading? Is there mountains? So, are we going to need climbing gear? Is it going to be colder? That kind of thing. We can
I
find
mean, it
out.
is generally cold here, but yeah, it is colder there. I put the map in the Discord general chat. Find that out.
Okay.
And we're going to the bay first, correct?
The steam, what was that?
Or the-
Steam Lake?
Or the steaming lake?
Yeah,
Is that
Steaming Lake.
Steaming lake is first, okay.
Looks like we could head east until we hit that river and then take it up into the mountains. Out of character and in character, I don't know anything about how to do this survival stuff, so Palin's deferring.
We make a long journey of walking. So, and we follow the roads.
Poor Shauna had all of her sigils for transporting, and now is in that's a lot.
Yep. Sorry, guys, I don't know any of these places yet. I don't even know if
You
this
are
city
able
has
to
one.
get one for the Slayer's Take here, though, as
Ah,
members.
okay, cool.
Okay, that's
Hey,
helpful.
guys, we
That's
can always
very
come back
helpful.
here.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
teleportation circle? Me too. Damn it.
So,
Yeah, definitely my wizards. If at some point, it's totally up to you. But if you do want to compare spell lists through Discord and retake some spells in regards to each other through your spell books, I'm totally okay with that.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you certainly don't have to. But if those were your chosen ones, like for your wizard class, like that kind of sucks potentially, especially with the utility spells. But then again, if one of you dies as a backup,
Exactly. And one of us can not and have it prepared while the other person doesn't have to.
That's
the
true,
thing
'cause
about-
there's preparation.
Yeah, because... Well...
Yeah.
What does everybody plan to do for 2 weeks?
I think I'll go to the temple and do some work there. And I'll meet you all in 2 weeks.
All right, sister. Be safe.
And I'm going
How
to go play my way around Vasselheim.
Courage is gonna go and get that jaw made into an axe for our barbarian friend.
Okay.
Palin, Mihan?
Sister, would it be a terrible imposition if I was to observe some of your work in the temple and very intrigued by your faith?
I'd be delighted to have you anytime you'd like to come.
And I might make a few excursions just to check on the progress of our crew, the ones who I found or made rather arrangements for. I do want to make sure they're fully settled before we set off.
Okay, in general chat, I also went ahead and put in the map of Vasselheim for you as well. And both maps are pinned in general chat, so.
Thank you.
I think the trading guild or
Well, I plan on being at the library where me and
What'd you say, Sai? Josh, you kind of went out.
I said I plan on being at the library probably, or maybe even spending a lot of time with the other wizards, getting to know the initiates down below.
Critters would hop around throughout the week with everybody. While waiting for the axe. He's gonna take out his painting supplies and just paint at like wherever everybody is, like Shauna at the library, and just do a painting of inside the library with all the books and the desk. With Marvelous at one of the taverns, doing a performance and having either that or a bar brawl breakout type scene, painting.
So while I'm going around to the taverns and trying to play, perform, whatever, I'm going to be asking about the territory to the east. I mean, excuse me, to the west, to try to glean any kind of information about what lies ahead, maybe paths to take, paths not to take. Just in casual conversation as I'm trying to apply information over the course of the time.
Sure, make a persuasion check. See how you do this.
Uh, 25.
Absolutely. Okay, so generally speaking, you get that travel in and around Vasselheim is mostly done by the coastal roads. And that is what is considered like the civilized lands for the most part. Hardly anyone travels outside of that. Unless they have a really, really good reason. The coastal roads aren't very well guarded at all, but they are generally less likely to have monstrous things that want to eat you. And there's occasional settlement or post that tries to keep some of it. So they're relatively good, but it's... and you're reminded in some of these rumors just how kind of monstrous Ishrila is. It is just a continent of monsters in a lot of ways. Like, it's generally unsettled. Unlike much of the others where civilization has carved a large path through, and it's kind of limited, and large wars just by their nature have caused creatures to live. Just the general wilderness here is kind of ripe for the settlement and reproduction of unknown creatures. As kind of with your regards, ultimately no one travels, especially to the northern area you're talking about, just not done. So there's like, sure. I would say that there is some talk of if you do travel the road towards Port Bergen and go north, there is talk of being able to grab a relatively used path that's used by the military to supply Northgard and Fort Northgard. However, that goes east, then north, and then kind of comes around west. So that definitely adds time to your trip. But it's the safest way north. And then from the fort, you'd have to make your way west through the mountains. So that's more mountain travel that way. Or you could go along the mountains to the forest. It just sort of depends how you're going north. From Vasselheim itself, it's relatively considered a fool's errand either way to go west, whether you go in between in the mountain valley or sort of where some of your team came from, over the flowing rivers or the springs. Both are heavily guarded by different entities and creatures. But the biggest danger of going through just kind of the open land and not sticking very close to the mountains to the north are the Shaktel tribes, which have been known and are generally considered to be carnivorous, made up of mixtures of humans, orcs, even half-elves, various people who've been thrown out of the society of Vasselheim and other cities and have kind of banded together, largely led by Goliaths. Is the most prominent kind of group that make their way through there. And south of that are the Grey Hordes, which isn't much better, though a little more civilized. But yeah, I would say there's talk of trying to find a pass, though no one really knows how to quite get there. And there are a few songs of like the steamy lake that you kind of ask about, that you can see as mist rise above the mountains various times. It's also known to be the cause of horrible storms in and around that region. So terrible, essentially like hurricane, tornado-like blizzards are there. Deadly weather is known to go all throughout simply because of like the absolute cold and then this extremely humid and tropic entire body of water that seems to exist and get mixed in with all the wind flows. So people look at you like you're talking about going there, like that is, people die simply traveling that way.
Okay.
I would say, and you hear rumors of the storm giant city way up in the mountains called Ad Bulgur. and that they
Look, it's
often
fine.
will make pathways to the lake to gather water for whatever reason.
Okay. Excellent. And over the course of the 2 weeks, whenever I have come across any of the group, I will share this information with them so that they understand.
Okay. Anything else?
How much would it be for that axe to be made and for the book from?
The book will go 50 gold. And then, since you have the components, they'll put the axe together for 400 gold.
Do you take gems?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll give them 5 gems since I don't have the gold cost. I don't think. Yeah.
Cool. And that works fine.
Shauna wants to research the Arcane Grimoire at the library. Just to know more about it. Because she figures this place wouldn't probably have the oldest information.
Absolutely. Make an investigation check.
$18.
Okay. Pretty good. Yeah, so as you look at the grimoires, you do find a picture, and there are supposedly 5 that were in existence. Each one made for a dean at the College of Ether. And you look up the College of Ether, and it was supposedly a flying school that was in the clouds and was rumored to exist, because this would matter to you, pre-Aor even. That it was one of the first studies, some say founded by the gods when magic was brought to the people. And it was made to avoid all politics and wars and entirely stayed out of the calamity and other types of wars, and essentially, even though it had great tools of warring that could even be of help, just let everyone war and die and kept to itself. Would recruit very careful students and very promising students to put them in and to give them special training. But the roles, like maybe out of the entire world of Exandria, they might take 3 a year, depending on this. And
Is there any record of one of these places crashing into Silra? Or being known around this?
There's not much as far as that. When it talks about it, it talks about it almost as it was generally thought a myth until it was noted that a group of adventurers called Popular Demands located one and brought it to Utherden. And the discovery of this volume has given these tales it's maybe more than a legend. Before that, so you get that your friends and you discovered the first one that they ever found.
Shauna's gonna write in the bottom of the book, Shauna Arnawana was here. Close the book. And then we'll spend the rest of the time just waiting for my meeting.
Yeah. I would say from that, just from your reading, I would say with your 18, you're pretty sure you've been to this library, the library of it, when you found the volume you hold now.
Yep.
Which was the oldest known building. So as far as the wreckage, you've kind of been to that wreckage. And other towers that might exist. But you're not sure.
This place is vast. A lot of it unexplored.
All right. So we had that, and then a few things. I would say, Shauna, as you do spend time with your 3 moon people, and you kind of sort of say generally what you're doing or where you as you ask certain questions. The halfling you met before or approach you as I go, Shauna, I hear you are going exploring and adventuring soon.
Yes, we're headed to the Steaming Lake.
Interesting.
Very.
None even go out there.
If only you knew what I did when I was younger. I love the cold. What can I say?
Indeed. I ask you this, I bring it up honestly, because there's a project we've been working on, and we have reason to believe that somewhere on Ishrila there are settlement or nests or population of Ixokoto. And we would like it very much if we could procure some Ixokoto eggs.
She's gonna lean in real close and go, "What's an exocoto?"
It is a serpent-like creature. Large wings. Theoretically, it is divine in of itself, a celestial, but bound to this world, breeding here. And eventually we want to take our order more public to gain further acceptance of the arcane in this place. And we were thinking that if we could have these celestial creatures as familiars or pets or friends, a population of them to serve kind of as our mascot, if you will, that would go a long way.
If I see these things, I may procure one for you, or a couple.
Excellent. I have no idea how you would keep one safe. The egg, just you figured that out. But thank you, Shauna. I will do well for the order.
You're very welcome. My father said there's a group of storm giants up there. Do you know anything about them?
Not much. I've known there are a few that have made a pilgrimage there. I had a friend who did so and came back, well, quite overworked, bloodied, but knowledgeable of their magics. They don't know much of their workings, honestly. Not much. They don't like others to meddle in their affairs. I know that much. And apparently he asked for training and was met with a year of torture and then a year of training, which he said was still torture.
Yes. The kind of giants I've met before kind of seem very like that. They weren't storm giants, but they were very not friendly to people that weren't.
Yes, I think they're probably sending a message, is my guess. They may not want their door beaten down to be a college, I guess. But other than that,
Thank
I
you very
don't
much.
know. Mhm. Then I would say Sister Esme. A gentleman who you've not met before, a very large furbolg. Very, like, almost pinkish skin, purple hair, reddish brown eyes, kind of moves in. Oh, Sister Esme, I presume?
Yes.
Well, greetings there. My name is Calatras. I am the paladin of the left wing. He kind of bows.
It's a pleasure. What brings you here?
Indeed. I come here because rumor has gotten that your travels may be taking you west into the north.
Yes.
I see. It is rumored that in the mountains there's many a lost temple. And I come to you with the backing of all the temples here of Ishvila, of the priestly council, that has authorized 500 gold apiece for any relics that you may find there. Specifically, and 1,000 gold if there's a location of temple ruins you could provide us with. And possibly other things should you explore and find greater treasures there within. We've heard rumors of a temple to the Storm Lord, or even an ancient one to Morden himself.
My good sir, please have a seat.
So that's
I would be more than willing to help in exchange just for the gold necessary to complete the task. I am currently seeking guidance in relation to the ways of this town, and 500 gold for relics and 1,000 gold for a location to something I would willingly give. It's not necessary. That money, instead, I would appreciate it if you would use it to better this town.
Indeed.
Now,
have you given any more thought to your order that I know is mentioned to you?
Yes, I have. And I think there is a need here. And perhaps that's partly of why I'm here. And if that's true, then I am considering starting an order here.
In that case, I believe let us at least earmark some of this for your order. Should you bring this back, we will consider it proof or evidence, I think is better. You have provided, as you've already been given the offer, enough proof but evidence that you would be worthy to invest in.
That is more than gracious.
Indeed. You are, even for... There are many who can carry the gift and choose to do so for still profit. You're a rarity, Sister Esme. A rarity among those who are not committed to a temple.
I hope that's not true.
It would be great if it was not. Indeed. Go to aid in the collection, and he will hand you a bag of holding.
Oh. Thank you. This will definitely be of use in our travels.
Indeed. Would hate something to have to be left behind.
Do you require anything here?
No. Thank you. He bows his head and... Actually, Sister, may we pray together?
I would be delighted to join you.
And for the next hour, he'll simply join you in meditations. Just enjoying the company of someone he has gotten some respect for. Alright. Is there anything else anybody wanted to make sure happens here?
Sure. So we had 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna make mine simple because my brain hurts. Uh, I would like to use 100 gold to purchase food, blankets, and clothing so that I may provide alms for the poor.
Okay.
And I'd also like to make sure that the group of people that, are now instated with a paladin order are faring well. Aside from that, I think that's what I'll be doing for the 2 weeks,
100% makes sense to me. Interesting. Yeah, very good. Let's see able to do that, and there are the poor that do find themselves in the streets, though. It does seem like there are those helping. Some of what you've already done has been helpful, you and your compatriots. Already, Vasselheim seems to be becoming a better place. In general, and yeah, I would say just seem to be held in greater esteem than before.
Yay.
And then Palin, was there anything your character was attempting to do?
Palin would make an effort to check in on, the folks that he was responsible for and establishing at the trading guild, and he'll just want to ensure that they've been, apprenticed to reputable, tradespeople. He'll want to check on their progress, see if there's anyone who's been low performing, or if there are any outliers in the other direction, anyone who's demonstrating some uncommon aptitude in a given trade.
100%.
And then I think he'll split his time between there and being at the temple with Esme, just trying to absorb and understand what it is that motivates her to behave in the way that she does, because it's so alien to him. It's so bewildering, and he doesn't understand how she can reject these tempting offers of power and glory and esteem so consistently. That's what he'll do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a 20-hour trip up those stairs, remember?
Yeah, I spent the full 2 weeks just in transit.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that you get from this is that they are very much interested in anything that's any type of rare or pieces of more magical or monstrous creatures. They do have an intense interest in, as that would help them move forward quicker. As they're apprenticing, as they're moving, all of them actually doing really good, though it is a little bit of an influx of a lot of people into this kind of burgeoning city, and so supplies are extremely low to actually get what they need. And you hear about rumors about like the Slayer Stick numbers being way down, and a lot of the items that are even they're having a hard time getting certain things because a lot of the lower teams seem to have perished, and a few of the higher ones. Basically, not a lot of people are willing to take the 100 or 200 gold contracts for just like common things that they usually used to cut their teeth on.
It's like the bottom fell out of the economy.
basically.
Where do we rank, Matt? Relatively, are we like still very much?
You are as in the guild. You're considered lower level, but as far as the type of skill you bring, you would be one of the top groups.
Okay. Thank you.
In that case, I think we're good. All right. So let's see. That was the 2 weeks, and then we have an appointment at Gilmore's. So you can definitely buy your armor of glamour there, Marlborough.
Yeah.
You what?
Marvelous.
Marvelous done.
He don't want any armor.
You don't want any armor. You don't need nothing. Marvelous. Yes.
How much will it cost me?
That was uncommon, right? Or was that a little more?
It's a blue item, so rare. It's blue rare.
Rare. Okay. Then that would be. I think they were trying to get that for you. So 2,500 gold.
All right.
Do you need some gems?
Thank you, though.
All right then. I think you spotted. Cool. And then, critters. I just put a Google link to the book that you grabbed in general. That should work. And then I think we're there as we're waiting to get to Gilmore. We will go ahead and take our 15-minute break.
All right.
Awesome.
everybody's ready.
I'm here.
Here.
Everybody here and ready to go. Cool. Jeb, you round?
Yes.
Yes. Alright. Z?
I'm here.
Very cool.
It's been 3 weeks and I still haven't asked you in character about your name, Keegan. I keep forgetting every week. I make a note to myself.
As one of the characters go, you don't even understand my name. We've known each other for a year, and you never even care. You're like, ah. Those always crack me up. People go, at any rate, so 2 weeks come about, and you, Shauna, are notified that Gilmore will indeed be making time for you. And you have your appointment time. Do you make any special preparations for that?
Oh yeah, Shauna wakes up really early. Irons her dress out like with magic and presses it. Dusts off her book, makes it really nice. Shines up her horns. Does her hair, and she probably even wakes up Palin. Even before like he's supposed to be up and like, Palin, today's the day.
Oh, all right. We're going to see Mr. Gilmore. Oh, yes, I need to do something about all this, probably.
Don't worry, the sun hasn't risen yet, so you have time.
I'll need every second. You know, Marvellus always looks kind of effortlessly put together, and he's a striking-looking fellow. Maybe we should ask him for advice. Or you don't need any. Look at you. But
This takes hours of work.
it looks effortless and flawless. Are we doing this? I guess I'm doing this. I'm gonna wake up Marvellus and go knock on his door.
All right. Marvellus, way too early. You get a...
Mm-hmm.
Marvellus is barely gone to sleep from the night before at the tavern. Has three or four different encores, so he's really yeah.
It's Palin. We're going
Palin?
to see. Yes, Palin. You remember me, right?
You keep trying, you won't fail. Just keep trying.
We're going to see Mr. Gilmore today, and I thought you might have some valuable input on how to make us more presentable.
Okay, give me a second.
He gives him exactly 1 second, and then he walks through the door.
Marvellus has gone back to sleep, but he hears him coming in. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Well, half of you are already perfect. You need to fix your hair and stand up straight. Here, tuck in your shirt. Okay. He'll spend 5 minutes just going around and doing all this stuff, knocking dust off, acting like it's dust. Okay. So this, what do you think, Sean?
Marvelous.
That's the
No
winner.
pun intended.
Who all was intending to accompany us on our shopping expedition? Is it the whole group?
Would you like me to wake him up and ask?
Yeah. Marvelous is ready. All he does is puts his hat on, and he's ready to go.
And somehow, and Palin watches as he goes from terribly hungover and rumpled and ashen faced to like somehow just putting on the hat, kind of like
You should
as
really
though by
get
magic.
a hat.
Yeah,
You should really just get a hat.
he does look fantastic. And Palin's like, how did you do that? Maybe I should invest in a hat. But yes, we should probably wake everyone up. That seems like a great idea.
Okay. Sean's gonna run around like a kid on Christmas, waking everybody up horribly, shaking them and going, guys, get up! Today's the day.
It's Gilmore Day.
And Esme was already up downstairs eating breakfast.
Yeah, I'm like pounding on her door, getting increasingly worried that she's not answering. And then it occurs to me to just check the common room in there. Critters is coming, right?
Yeah, Critters would get up, and just waiting for them to hit the door one more time, so he can use this in a future mimicries against them. And then he'll open the door and come out.
I don't know what your grooming process is. If you preen or your feathers, maybe you want to, and Palin will start trying to like smooth them down a little. He's a very impressive man. We don't want to make the wrong impression on him, you know. You just let me pet you like a
I actually don't know what he would be doing in that sense. So yeah, he would let you go ahead. He would probably like take a few feathers that are just sticking out of ends, and when it's all done, he will just shake it all off, basically.
Great. Yeah, flip himself back up. And Mihan, have you been awakened by our thunderous enthusiasm for Gilmore Day? Are you muted or away from your keyboard?
Excuse me.
He's just overwhelmed with enthusiasm.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh.
Well, everyone, are you excited? Today's the day.
Yes, it's very exciting.
I mean, he's practically world famous,
Glorious is
right?
what I hear.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him, but I've never met anyone who required an appointment, so it sounds really exciting.
You've never heard of him?
No.
I'm going to minor illusion a picture of Gilmore.
Who's this?
It doesn't do him justice, but this is Gilmore.
Oh. Hello, Gilmore.
No, sister, it's an illusion.
Oh. I apologize.
The tone of this game just completely fell apart.
I was listening. I was like, all right. So you're going to Gilmore's. Everybody, I guess, is going now?
Yes.
guess.
I guess. Yep.
I
Okay.
put my
Everybody
hat on. I'm going.
Going as a
Alright.
family.
So you come to the purple sign with the emblazoned white unicorn and cyan lettering that says Gilmore's, and then in gold lettering underneath, Glorious Goods. That seems to be revamped, especially shiny and vibrant, maybe indicating the master of goods himself is present. And even as you enter, from what you've seen before, it is sort of reorganized. The space expands a little bit. You're not sure if there is actually more room in some magical sense, or it's just an illusion. But right on time, bursting out of the back as the bell rings is just ahead at first of a darker skinned gentleman with his hair done up in braids coming down, his beard, goatee grown long, that beaded and braided all the way down to his navel, with a large flowing purple shirt that shows off his chest coming down in a V shape, and he bursts out of kind of this beaded area, goes, "Welcome to Gilmore's."
Oh my god, it's you.
It's him. It's him.
Let me guess. Shauna? The one who's made the appointment with me?
Oh, he knows your name. He knows your name.
I know. Yes.
Oh, indeed. It is a great pleasure to meet the great Shauna. As he takes your hand and gives it a kiss, very gently, as he looks up at you. You look absolutely perfect.
You look absolutely glorious.
Oh, that is what they call me. Indeed. And you friends of yours?
Yes. This is Palin.
Greetings.
And this is Sister Ez.
Sister.
And this is Marvelous.
Yeah,
Marvelous.
I was about to say, marvelous
Yeah.
from what all the taverns seem to say about you.
Oh,
Next
May
to
I
him is
say that you look marvelous.
Please,
Next-
I'm married.
Critters. And then Mihan.
Good to meet you. Well, is this a group meeting, or was this just with you, Shauna Anawana?
I mean, if they want to come in, they're allowed to. It's not a secret. But I figured I have something you might want to look at.
Certainly, come on back. Anyone who, I guess, want to. Otherwise, feel free to look about the shop.
yeah. Palin darts in after.
Any else? Anybody else?
Esme will just look around the shop.
Okay.
Marvelous will stay out in the shop and look around as well.
Critters would go in.
Okay. All right. Then inside,
I think I'm going to pass out in real life.
I gotcha. Mia, and if you got to go, we understand. Take care of yourself.
Later, buddy.
Feel better.
Feel better.
All right. And around the table, you see, it's interesting as each of you sit down at this very ornate table that has this golden filigree all around it. The table itself shifts when you sit to be the perfect height for each of you somehow, with still being absolutely smooth. It seems just going to warp and stay some time around you. Well, Gomo pretty much pays no mind to it. Just like, yes, well, What is it you have to show me, my dear?
Just gonna lift it up very gently and set it down in front of him.
All right. What are you showing?
The Grimoire Infintus.
Oh, so as you just take it out, there's this absolute release of the persona of Gilmore. Just stares. Oh my. And catches himself. Now, where did you find that?
Well, it's not the first one, but in a
You
school.
found more than one.
Yes, me and an old friend. We found it. Well, one of them we found in Aor, in Wildmount, and then the other one we found in a castle under the water. Like,
Oh my.
not a castle, more like a school. You've probably read about them. They used to be flying.
Are you referring to the College of Ether?
Yeah,
This is a dean's book.
yeah.
What would you let this go for? Or are you thinking to keep it and simply get information?
I was mainly thought somebody like you might know a little more about this than me.
Indeed, I do.
And I figured you're so glorious, why not share the information I have?
Indeed, this gloriousness does not come cheap. I'm afraid. Let's do a fee of 100 gold.
Here.
Excellent. So it seems, as I indicated, this is a dean's book from the College of Ether, also known as Grimoire Infinitus, which I'm sure you already have picked up some. It is a book that never runs out, but also one that clings to its master and begins to anticipate their needs, granting them abilities far beyond what any wizard can even suspect. It is said that the original, or to make one, I should say, takes a archmage, one who has achieved the pinnacle of power, to write everything they know, a collection of spells and arcane knowledge and secrets, and then using, I would say, a certain type of magic, mostly necromantic, to infuse the energy from their very soul upon it. And I would say legend says that the very first headmasters created the first ones to pass down to their predecessors.
Do you know, since obviously you're somebody that likes to, I'm guess, gathering magical items like this is your feste, do you know if there's been any rumors ever of one of these books appearing on Isilra?
Yeah, Niswila. I've not heard anything of the book. However, there was a legend that I've been meaning to follow up on of Broken Bay. according to some of the locals, at one time the islands that make up Broken Bay were part of the mainland. And their stories tell of some massive structure falling from the sky and wreaking various effects upon the land, the creatures there, and then splitting pieces of the mainland out and forming the islands themselves. Thus, the bay at one time was much smaller and is being elongated from this event. And I don't know what you know of the College of Ether, but
Which
there
one?
was... Which one?
I've been to both. 2 of them.
Interesting.
I'm a very traveled elf.
You were at one of the... Well, the College of Ether is several towers, typically connected by Overbright. Now, tell me, in each one, did you know what kept the 2 you have been in afloat?
One was the Overbright, correct, Matt? The first one.
The first one did have a Broomstone engine.
Yep. So it was
could also make
Overbright.
Overbright. No, Broomstone engine's not Overbright.
Oh, okay. So it did have the brimstone engine, but wasn't it floating?
It
on
was
its own
floating
cloud?
by the engine. It couldn't make Overbright.
Okay, so I will let him know about that one, and then the second one was undersea, so it didn't have one.
Interesting. So, there was the Library of Secrets and 5 original buildings, all made from Broomstone engines. The last I heard of the college existing was the Library of Secrets with its Broomstone engine, with the rest of the buildings utilizing Overbright.
Interesting.
Which means that either those original buildings are still floating around, or they have all crashed.
Aelin's going to interject. Would it be of value to you if Shauna was able to approximate the location of these ruins?
Some. Be more value if you could procure what is inside.
You say there's one in the Broken Bay.
Well, it says a legend of something coming down from the sky and exploding and making a mess of their culture. And
Oh.
I would say something that causes mutations.
I have
Would-
seen what these things can do. What you say sounds very same pattern. So, and we are happen to be headed towards the Broken Bay sometime within the next year.
Excellent. In that case, I'd consider it a personal favor and would recompense you if you would be bringing anything you find there directly to me. My glorious shop. And in fact, should you do that, I'll come with my first convenience.
And we would like your branding.
Should
I heard
do
you only
this.
do it one. Yes, I heard you did one group before, a long time ago.
That is true. Everyone wants to be like them. But if your findings, certainly if you get me a Dean's book, I can make this happen. It would be a glorious achievement.
Thank you for the meeting, Mr. Gilmore.
There's one last thing I am just curious about, but I would need to confer with one of our companions first. Would it be terribly rude to ask you to wait for just a few moments while I go discuss something?
If you wish to talk out there, I can spare a few moments. This has been a very interesting conversation. Plus, I must
Here.
confess, Miss Shauna.
Let me teach you a spell while he's gone. I'll show you one. I created.
Oh, absolutely. Alright.
I'm ducking out of the room to try and locate Sister Esme.
Okay.
Sister Esme is like walking around the store, like just trying to figure out what all these items are, and just, I don't know if there's other customers in here, but if there are, she's probably trying to blend in and doing a really bad job of it.
Yeah, you're so inconspicuous.
Yeah.
So Palin's going to approach you, obviously in something of a rush, feeling pressured, and he'll say, would it be horribly rude if we were to get an appraisal from Mr. Gilmore himself of your new piece of jewelry?
An appraisal?
Well, I figure he's an expert. He might just have some kind of special insights.
Oh. Sure. That if you think he would know things.
I'm fairly certain that he would. He's glorious after all.
I have been curious about it in some ways, so maybe he has some insight.
Would you like to keep it on, or I could just bring it to him?
I guess I could show it to him.
And then I'll square her back with a quickness.
100%.
And kind of burst in if you guys are still mid-conversation.
Yeah,
Now, you see, if you take one of these little time things and what are they called? Time stopper. Hold on.
Dunamantic energies.
Hourglasses. If you take one of these little hourglasses and you use it in this spell, you can cause a creature to age.
Oh my.
Palin bursts in with Sister Esme into.
I know the perfect half elf to try that out on.
Mr. Gilmore. I'm sorry, Mr. Gilmore. This is our friend, Sister Esme. I think, we already did introductions. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. But she has something very interesting that recently came into her possession that I just was dying for you to take a look at.
If you show neck, yes. Well,
Sister
I
Esme,
see.
do you mind taking off your habit just briefly? I want to make sure he gets the full effect.
Sure. So she would show the vestige of divergence.
Dun dun dun!
So that when he goes, boom. That. I didn't realize that has come back.
You've seen it before.
I indeed have. I've heard tell of it, I should say. It, last I heard, it was of use around another's neck in Avernus.
Do you have any insight on whether this item is evil in some way?
What I can tell you is the one who blesses construction is considered by most to be evil indeed. That would be Tiamat. She created this, it is said, to enable her hordes to traverse the land and conquer it. And the last one I know who had it was one who loved her deeply. Obsessed with her, I would say. Very stalkerish, frankly.
How rude.
That's very insightful information that was not given to me.
I'm not sure they knew. I happen to know the people who helped him get it personally.
You did.
Yes.
Perhaps I could talk to them.
Perhaps. That would be your business. If you ever make your way to Amman, there are quite a few, one or two I can introduce you to. Maybe if they have time.
Another pregnant. Yes.
Your friend Shana here knew there's another group. They were known as one time as Vox Machina, and they aided a gentleman in obtaining this.
Were they adventurers?
Indeed. Great ones. They were on their way to destroy a great evil. And one of their company, though not a member, but one they were traveling with, required us to help them. And they required it and were soon betrayed by the very same.
The person who wore it.
Yes. Though, I would say, as retrospect, talking to them, it was his intention to get it and his intention to always betray them. Way before the circlet ever pierced his neck. I find things like this. They may have been made for many reasons. And those who are loyal or interested in those reasons, or those who even made it, sister, might be wanting you to do many things. But in of itself, it is an item of power. And in my experience, power simply makes you more of what you already are.
Well, thank you for telling me these things. Do I owe you money?
Kaden will just sigh, like, ah.
I'll discount this one for 50 gold.
Very well. So she'll hand over 50 gold.
Kaden will watch the gold pass hands, just looking so pained.
smile. It is very special, sister. It is one of only very few items that were crafted with the blessing of a god. And it will grow with you. You will find new things out about it. It will tell you new secrets and grant you power. Use it wisely.
I will try. And so she'll cover it back up.
Oh, Mr. Gilmore, you certainly do not disappoint. Thank you so much.
Believe me, I've never been disappointing ever. In any circumstance.
I'm certain.
Well, if your trade is done, and if your questions have indeed been answered, and Miss Shauna, I thank you so much for that spell you shared with me.
Of course. Thank you for the information you provided. And keep up your glorious name.
You are a flirt.
Thank you. She blushes and runs out the door.
It was wonderful to meet someone world famous. She would shake his hand and then leave.
Fantastic.
Critters would mimic Shauna. You are so glorious, Mr. Gilmore. And shake his hand and leave.
Thank you.
Caitlin still wants to purchase some components. I don't think that's something that would take up Mr. Gilmore's time per se, but
Right, yeah, you can just go ahead and do that. That's fine.
In the shop, is there any special type of arrows?
Certainly. You could pretty easily get any of the ammunitions. If you wanted. If you look at those. It's up to you. Is that any you're looking at?
You're muted, Jeb.
When I type in ammunitions, it only pops up arrows. The rest are like with muskets and the bad news type stuff. But when I type in arrows, the other arrows don't have a cost to them.
What's their rarity?
I was looking at the walloping for common.
Yeah, so all of those you can get here for 50 gold each.
Each bundle, or
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. The ammunition, that's 1 each, I believe. So I believe like you get a walloping arrow for 50 gold.
Okay. Um. Let's see. I will use the rest of my gems. So that'll be 11 gems, so 1100 worth of walloping arrows.
Nice. All right. And Shauna Gilmore hands you a. Actually, what Gilmore will do is he'll take out of his pocket his personal journal, and I flip through it really quick, and he takes a knife or a dagger and he detaches 2 pages of it. He puts them down. He goes to the back of it, and he takes out 2 pages and he puts them next to it. He concentrates for a second, and you see the writing from the 2 from his journal transpose themselves onto the other one so that there's a perfect copy of it. And then he takes the other 2, puts them in his book as he concentrates on a mending cantrip, knitting them back together. He hands you the other 2 pages.
Ooh, what are these?
Well, I charged you for my knowledge, and I think you freely gave a spell. I don't think that's fair. I simply want to be gloriously generous, and this is trade in kind. One of your originals for one of mine.
What lays before me?
Yes, I will go ahead and put that in general game chat. Seems to be a spell called Shining Armor.
Well, thank you so much, Gilmore. That was very generous of you.
Indeed, I hope you find it useful. It is a trade in kind, like I said. Something I've been working on.
I think Esme, as we're kind of making our way toward the exit here, would probably turn to Palin and first thank him for the idea, and then say, "There's something I didn't tell him about the item."
No. What?
Well, I'm a little concerned. If what he said is true, when this was given to me, I was told it liked me.
What do you think that means?
Well, if it was created from who Gilmore says, I don't know what it means. But
maybe it merely recognizes potential.
Me.
Do you feel like it's exerting any kind of...
Oh, no, I don't. But I don't want to be blind to it either. And maybe if I ever act out of character, then you can let me know.
I could keep an eye on you, is what you're saying.
Yes.
That sounds like a great plan.
Thank you.
It is very interesting. Our group, we stumble into and upon all kinds of interesting things. Can't wait to find out how it all unfolds.
Indeed.
But I'm sure everything will be fine. He can clasp her on the shoulder and then make his way to exit the shop.
All right. Does everybody go then? Chris, were you able to get what you needed?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. In that case, what next, everybody?
I just have an out of character question. I wanted to purchase the components for the teleport spell, but I couldn't actually find the the stuff like when I searched in inventory.
For
So I was
teleport,
Yeah,
like teleport spell itself doesn't have a component. It's just local. You just have
There's
to know the place where you've been, or else you roll for it. Are you talking teleport or teleportation circle?
teleportation circle.
That you have to have a sigil of the teleport place.
Yeah, but there's also like you're supposed to have rare chalk, inks infused with precious gems worth 50 gold pieces.
Oh yeah, you just spend gold on that and put create item, and just mark it
Okay.
because there's not an actual item for that
Okay.
type of stuff in D&D. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wizards,
Okay.
they make them so much harder than they actually are.
Yeah, basically just like add custom item. That's what I use for all my like greater restoration stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got your shocks basically for that. Yeah, and the shocks definitely able to be found here in Gilmore. It's just very freely. Absolutely. So, what I'll also say, just so we're aware, I'm doing some interesting things in the city for all the characters. So, Palin, you are essentially like bottom rank with the traders in the Crossroads. Sister Esme, you're moving up the ranks in the religious district in which you're affiliated. Shauna, you're a welcome initiate among the Three Moons. And Critters, we haven't had a lot of time to establish you just yet.
Yep.
In anything, but so we can definitely get that for you. And Marvelous, in the ends with all of your songs. You are among the people. You're kind of getting some renown there as well with all your achievements. And the more you do for those areas, there's things you do that increase your renown, and then things you particularly do for your for the people that you have this renown with, that increase your actual influence with them and certain access. And all of you also have this now ranking system with Slayer's Take and Gilmore's now that you've made that arrangement. So I'm keeping track of that. So the more things you push in there, the greater access to certain items or offers could potentially be made to you as you're moving that. So all these kind of are factions within Vasselheim. Not necessarily in competition with one another, but just things that will could do well for you.
Right. Marvez would like to book out some bar mitzvahs for the local area.
Nice.
100%.
Mazel tov.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
All right. So you have everything you need. If you didn't have cold weather gear, I'm assuming you're getting it.
Yeah, man, I had a list of things that I want, just regular general items. It totals up to 55 gold, like
Yeah.
climber's kit, tent, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would say make sure you think about those things. What you might want, climbers kits, those general things. You could definitely find them here.
One of the things I was going to ask in my time around, kind of talking to the people in between performances, travel-wise, would I've learned anything about just foot travel, or do they recommend horses to a certain point, anything like that?
Generally, foot travel, if you're not taking a road, is believed to be best. Mostly because you can be quieter. Unless you have a reason for wanting a horse, which is usually to carry things. So the biggest reason to take horses would be on a return trip, or for some other reason you need something to carry a lot of weight for you.
Pack mules or something like that. I got you.
Yeah. Or just the pegs you put on a horse. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But other than that, it's those who travel tend to travel light if they're not taking a road.
Shauna does.
Oh, go ahead.
Shauna does bring everybody a parka. 'Cause she's been to Aor before, so she knows what cold weather's like, and she hands one to each Palin sister as critters. Marvelous if he doesn't have one.
Critters would swap his robe of use items to his second one. And on there, you'll see he does have a patch with a horse with saddlebags and a patch with 2 mastiffs. So
if we need it, there we go.
Dogs?
So we got pack mules if we need them. And if someone else would like the first robe, it still has a wooden ladder. I think it's 50 rations. Yeah, 50 rations. And a portable ram.
Palin will take it if no one else is interested.
Oh, and an iron door here. Put it in.
The Iron Door.
Yes.
You have a portable
Guys,
ram for your iron door.
To be honest, I almost used that iron door to escape from y'all last session.
Oh,
I would have hopped out the window and put the iron door on the window.
Oh no.
Iron door doesn't create an opening.
No, it
Oh,
puts
right, but it puts it there, right? You could
puts
shut
it
the
there
window.
on the door- on the
Yeah,
window.
you're right. Yeah, for reference as well, mostly for Shauna, um, the um, where you are and where you're going is the same north as Foreign and where the Isaac or where Isaac crosses.
Yeah.
So it is just as far north. So it is the same biting cold.
I don't want to go. Okay, we got this, guys.
So, other than the cold weather clothing that I bought, would I require anything else for a cold weather trip? Like as far as survival?
I mean, you can buy snowshoes and stuff like that
Oh, I didn't know that.
if you want.
Yeah, I do want.
I plan on flying on my broom. Just so everybody knows, the special word for the broom, if you want to ever use it, because all you have to do is say it, is Keegan.
Oh my god, perfect.
Nice.
Okay. So, what route are we trying to take to this place?
Well,
Well, it seems take the coastal road to Fort Bergen and then go north and take the path to Fort Nathgard.
So the way it would work, yeah, you could make your way east to where the crossroads is, where the L in Vasselheim is, and then you could take that up to that mountain pass. Then you'd have some wild land to traverse before you got to Northgard, and then you could traverse to Fort Northgard. But as you can see, that is a lot of travel to not make that much
Or we
time.
could just cut our way and just go.
and I was told the Lost Temple was to the west. Is that right?
Correct.
The west of where?
They're staying in the mountains.
Oh,
for
the
most
mountains.
part.
So it would be like the west of the lake? Or
West of where Vasselheim is. So the mountains in the west. these
okay.
guys.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, unless you guys want to travel the road, I think our quickest way is through the woods and the mountain.
Yeah, I would think so.
I know we'll have to deal with being in the wild again, but we did well before, right?
Famous last words.
So, in other words, the roads are longer, but probably a little safer.
Yeah.
And Northgard and Fort Northgard, these are like towns or like little outposts. Would we know how populated they are? I don't want to like miss anything cool. Like if there's a cool little thing to see on the go.
I mean, they're potentially populated. It is Fort Northgard. I would say you'd be able to get that. Essentially, is there because it's the last place that's considered where kind of the Vasselheim is interested in having any defenses from anybody who'd come through the Untamed Gulf.
Okay.
I like the idea of going to Northgard, just to see it. But I'm not really like adamant either way.
If we're not worried about time, I'm fine. I would like to head that way.
Because we have a year for the contract, don't we?
No, we have 6 months.
Oh, we have 6 months. Okay. Well, that's still
Because
okay.
we took-
'cause it-
We split the contracts.
yeah. So yeah, that should still be fine because if I remember right, the straight line thing was like a month of travel. So if we have to deal with going around here, I'm guessing this is like a 2-month trip ish.
Yeah, this way it's about 8 there, and then yeah, to go around this way, then up here is about 300 miles.
Okay. And I think, yeah. I think the roads would be my vote, but again, I'm happy to do either path because I think they're both going to be interesting for different reasons.
Well, then let's take a vote.
Yeah, I'd say it's essentially, from what I can tell, you're going an extra 100 miles by taking the roads. So it's adding 4 to 5 days to your trip.
Okay.
In total,
Yeah.
it's about a 13-day journey to Fort Northgard if you take the roads.
But we could cut up and then head towards Northgard if we wanted to take the wild, and we might get there quicker.
That's true as well.
It would be a little more dangerous.
Yeah, and that's just assuming that cutting across country is actually faster. There's more things that we could run into to slow us down that could cost us longer time.
You're very correct, Marbles.
Halen's going to be very invested in taking the safer route.
Then I think it's decided we head the road.
I'm okay with hitting the road.
Okay. So from this point, your general idea is to get up here to Fort Northgard and then stay. Well, then you figure out how you want to, if you want to traverse the mountains, purely exploring the area, trying to find some type of pass to the steaming lake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That'll be your 13-day journey. And as a reminder, Critters, you had received some type of vision and stuff about things in the Bay of Vasselheim.
Yes.
Okay, just reminding you.
When you first said the Broken Bay, I was thinking that they were connected, but I didn't realize that there was a place called the Broken Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, Bay of Vasselheim on this side of the world, on the whole other side of the continent is the Broken Bay.
Is that the Arathis Blade stuff? Is that where?
Yes. Yeah.
What about the Arathis Blade?
Just that was in the bay by Vasselheim, right?
No.
No.
Oh, the Arathis Bay. I don't think so.
Oh, Arathis Bay. Wasn't there some early thing about?
Hollow Bay. Look at all the bays.
It was something about. It was like a map or something. Talking
tower.
about like
Yeah, there's a
special
tower
regiment.
in the Bay of Vasselheim, and I thought that was the Arathis Blades.
Yeah, Arathis Blades.
Okay.
I was actually here for it. It was an earlier stream session.
Oh yes, that was in the Bay of Aslan. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Sorry,
That's
I
the same
thought you said something else. Yes, okay. My
That was our first hook, guys, and we still haven't heard that. What the heck?
Okay. All right. So we've got 13 days of travel. Means I need to unload 13 d20s into my hand.
Oh.
Oh boy.
That can't be good. Why is it going?
Each day has a new surprise.
Yep.
But you're on the road chart, so you know.
Well, that's good. That's good. Pirates. Thieves. Bandits.
A lady willing to sell you anything you want. Only for the price of your soul.
What? You've never run into that?
It's you assuming Palin has a soul.
I don't want Palin to meet her. He'd be like, ooh, what can I give you?
Okay. Very cool. The dice have spoken. And in that case, I do need Palin, Sister Esme, Shauna, and Critters each roll me a d6.
Here we go. Saturday all over again. I got a 4.
I got a 6.
I got a 3.
And what did Palin get?
6.
6. Okay, so that's 6. Esme got 4?
Yes.
Okay. So that's 6 and 4, and a 3 and a 4. Very, very good. Okay.
I feel like it's not actually good. You're just saying it's good.
It's good for whom? Is the question. All right. So in that case, you begin making your way. The grand gates of Vasselheim open. Just you and your feet, your back, and the 7 of you. Of course, we'll give our friend back by potential because I want to be nice. As you begin your journey. And the cold weather, it's snowing. You find the path, the snow crushing beneath your feet. And I think we will end there as we fade out into the white. And I have the encounter rolls, and we will find them next week.
Awesome.
Sweet. First leg. So, very good. Any of you watching, we'll check in next week as now we're on the road for RP and more action as we've done our town duties, got in different interests of note. And yeah, I'd say, I was going to say for Marlborough, I think almost everybody essentially got like something that their people wanted or would be interested in. Your thing is basically stories and songs. And anything interesting, any type of souvenir would be something like anything to go to your show. basically, is stuff that's going to increase your pull. And people like would go, I get to help the great marvelous. I said Marlboro again, so sorry. But the great marvelous at their things.
I didn't help it. I didn't help in that situation.
Yeah, smar. Both Mars because you're a jerk. But we'll get up there. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.